Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, you don't know exactly what I am doing here. I am a love coach specifically for women who want to stay and reconcile after infidelity. They say it's impossible. They say once a cheater, always a cheater. They say that it will never heal and he will never treat you right again. And I am here to tell you that that does not have to be your story. I know they will tell you stories with terrible endings. I know that. But I am here to tell you that I'm in my happy ending era right now. I am 17 years past the last D Day, not the first, but the last. And we are doing great. Everywhere that I was all hurt before is healed up. And I know the ways to get you there too. I want you to stop hurting. I want you to be able to get on the healing path and get to where I am. All right. Goodness. Whew, all right. There we go. All right. So, y'all come on in. Let me know if you got any questions, anything that you want to be answered about how to get past this, how to get to a better place with you and your honey. I am here to answer that for you tonight. And I'm going to tell you the basics of healing this trauma so that you can actually move past it. There are things that happen to every single one of us that are signs of this trauma happening. And what we've got to do is overcome those things. We cannot let them continue to just fester and make us miserable because then we stay hurting. We stay lost in the woods. We can't get on the healing path. We can't get home. And that is what we want, right? We want to be happy and home with our honey where we belong, right? Isn't that where you want to be? I want you to be there. I'm trying to tell you it's a good place to be. I want you to have the peace and the comfort and the understanding and the love that you deserve for being such a loving person and feeling like this. This is unconditional love in action. You are doing something big time and you deserve some help to do that. All right. So, first of all, before I offer anything else, let you know you can get on a call with me in my Enchanted Reconciliation call. If you need somebody to talk to, you've never talked to anybody before, and you feel like, okay, I can maybe talk to somebody right now. I can maybe start to get a little bit of help. I've got bookings coming up. All right. So I will put that in the comments, and it's also in my link tree on my bio. All right. Let me copy that link, put that in here. All right. So, yes, sign up for a call with me. Absolutely free. All right. Want to talk to you, want to get you on the healing path, show you what to do, and then you can decide if you want to work with me from there. If you feel like I'm a good coach for you, I have led you onto the healing path, and you want me to keep on shining the light, I will do that for you. But before you get off the call with me, you're going to feel a little bit better. You're going to have somewhat of an idea about how you're going to walk along the path, even if you decide not to work with me. Okay. So make sure you sign up for a free call with me. All right. Next thing. Next thing is the first thing usually. I need you all to start doing some things to counteract the traumatic response that is happening in your body. I know that this feels like an emotional thing. This is feelings, right? It is not just feelings. It is not just that. This is an emotional and physical thing. There is something going on inside your body when you've been traumatized like this. This is not just, oh, my feelings are hurt. No, no, no. Your body is doing things. Your brain is doing things that you're not totally aware of, but they lead to very difficult circumstances when you just let them free. So we've got to learn to start controlling those. And the first way that you can start to learn to control the way that your body is reacting to this trauma is to deep breathe. I need you all to be doing your deep breathing. Have you been doing your deep breathing? If you're here with me now or you're hashtag replay here with me on the replay, let me know. Have you been doing your deep breathing? I'm trying to tell you it is super helpful if you go ahead and do it. All right. We need to be 5 times a day doing the deep breathing. If you choose to work with me, I will send you messages at the times that you want that say, hey, go do your doggone deep breathing, okay? I will remind you if you work with me. But if you don't work with me, you got to set your own timer, okay? You got to set that in your clock and remember to do this 5 times a day. What you're doing when you do that is you are telling your brain that you are no longer in any danger, okay? You are not in any kind of way about to be hurt. When you do that deep breathing, you are doing the opposite of the traumatic fight or flight breathing that happens when you've been traumatized. So we've got to do the opposite of that so we can teach our brains that we're actually safe in the moments that we're safe. All right. So we need to do that. You need to get on that. I need you to start working on your deep breathing. So we're going to do it together. We're going to do 3 times just for the sake of time. But on my YouTube channel, Love Coach Dasha YouTube, if you go to that, the very first video, I think, is start here and breathe. Okay. It is just me doing the breathing with you 5 times through. Put that bad boy on repeat. Do it till you feel better. All right. All right, but right now we're going to do our deep breathing all together. So come on in, everybody that's here. Make sure you give me likes and love. Let me know you're here. All right, we're going to do our deep breathing. What we do is 4-7-8 breathing. Now, what that is we're going to blow out, and then we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold that breath for a count of 7, and then blow out for a count of 8. Like we're blowing out an entire cake full of birthday candles. We want to make the noise when we breathe out, okay? I need you to blow. Make sure you're making that sound because you know how we have triggers for bad things? That's a trigger for a good thing. That is a trigger to your brain that, oh, she's making that sound. We are calming down. We are getting in control of our breath. That must mean that we're not in any danger. And your brain will start to believe that because you consistently show it that we do the breathing, we blow out, we do the breathing, we calm down. You will show your brain that that's what you want it to do. So join me for the deep breathing. Why don't you? Come on in. Come on in. Glad you're here. Hey, Charmaine, I see you over here. All right. First thing we're going to do is blow out. And inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. How do we feel when we do our deep breathing? Does it help? What do you feel physically? There should be, just with that little bit, there should be a physical change. Your body should feel different because you were doing the deep breathing. What comes up when you're doing that? What strikes you when you're doing the deep breathing? Like, oh, I get a little lightheaded, or oh, I start yawning, or oh, my heart is not pounding out of my chest now. What happens to you physically when you do the deep breathing? Because it is a physical thing. That's what we're going for, is to make it be such a physical thing that it takes over the automatic response of your body in a trauma. Okay. All right. Next thing that we are always going to talk about every time we get together is that I need you to do your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? Have you sat down with your journal, put pen to paper twice a day? I need you to jump on that. If you have not been doing that, I need you to invest in this. I need you to go find yourself a journal. Find yourself any old journal. This one's itty bitty, can fit in your pocket. This one has stickers. Came from the Dollar Tree. Doesn't matter what you use as long as it's some paper and a pen, okay? I want you to write it down, not just putting it in your phone. I want you to actually physically write it down, because there is a connection between writing something down in your brain saying, "Oh, this is important. She wrote this down on in the special book. This the special journal got this attention. Okay, well, that must be important." And so your brain will let go of thoughts, of repetitive thoughts, of bad images, if you go ahead and write them down in your journal, because that's the special book and you're not going to forget it in the special book. So it will teach your brain that you have a place to dump all of that emotion and put it down so that it can be remembered. You are not just ignoring yourself, but you're putting it down so you can come back to it later if you need to. And you will need to, because when you go back and look at your journal, you are going to find out so much information. You are going to know when and how triggers happen. What unfolded beforehand? What did you do that worked, that made it better? What did you do that didn't work, that made it worse? You will know those things because you will be writing them down. Try and keep a focus on what you are doing in the journal. That will help tremendously. When you're journaling, I need you to do your date, your time, your level of anxiety. Those three things need to always be in your journal entries. Your date and your time are so that you, as the scientist, can go back and look at the data and say, "Oh, this happens at this particular time, 9:15 p.m. I'm feeling a little anxious on a Thursday. Huh. I should maybe go watch the Healing Hour live with Love Coach Jasha, because I'm going to be a little tense at that point." That is what you are using it for, to be able to know and anticipate what the triggers are, and then be able to work out what is best for that trigger after it's happened. Your level of anxiety is 0 to 10. Zero is no anxiety whatsoever. You are wonderful. All is right with the world. Things are going beautifully. Write that down. You want to write that down. Don't let a day go by that is a good day and not write it down, because your brain will try and convince you that no good days ever happen. Your brain will lie to you when you're traumatized. It will lie hard. It will tell you that you're terrible, your entire life is terrible, your honey's terrible, you make terrible decisions, and you're ugly too. Okay? It will tell you all of that, and all of that is lies. Okay? We must not just automatically assume we will remember the good. When we are experiencing the good, write it down. Put it down so that you can remember it. I have started in my phone, at least this was in my phone because I keep it with me all the time, a daily gratitude practice. I'm tracking something every single solitary day that I'm grateful for, even on these last 3 days when we didn't even have any water in the house. Doggone it, I still had things to be grateful for. Now, not being able to flush the toilet is not really one of those things that you want to have happen, but other good things did happen during the day. And so I can't deny that, just because it was a rough couple of days with the water and because of snow does not mean that my life wasn't good in the meantime. All right. You have got to train your brain to look for those good things. And this is a great way to go about doing it, by writing it down when it happens. Okay. All right, so 0 is one end of the spectrum. Then we got 10. 10 is a loss of control. A 10 is you are flipping, okay? You have lost control of yourself. You are probably throwing things. You are probably screaming at the top of your lungs. You are probably losing your voice because of it. You are probably calling the cops or getting the cops called on you because you have lost it, okay? That is a 10. That is as bad as it can possibly be. If you are not at that point where you're nervous that your neighbors are going to hear you and call the police, you're not at a 10. Isn't that a good thing to know? Isn't that a wonderful thing to have in your knowledge bank, that if you are not at that point, you are not at a 10. It is actually not as bad as you think it is. Okay. So you go ahead and write down 10, but you write down 10 afterwards. After you have gotten to the point where you have gotten a grip on yourself again, and you're at a 9 or you're at an 8, and you have clamped down on yourself and you have gained control over your body and your brain again, then you can go back and write down, "Oh, yeah, I experienced a 10 today. I'm at a 7 right now. But woo-wee, I've experienced that 10, and the 10 built up from this. This was what happened before the 10, and this is how I responded with the 10. And that didn't work because this made me feel terrible and made him feel terrible. And he started being defensive. This is what happened. Write that down. If you write that down, about 5 minutes, okay, for an experience, even for like a 10 out of 10 like experience, it's still not going to be like more than 5 minutes. I want you writing. I want you to write it down as quickly and concisely as you can. The things that first come to mind, the things that are right there in the front as you are experiencing them, because those are big clues. You can go a little deeper and think about it after you've written it down, but in order to get down the big idea, you need to take about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes, jot down the big ideas, the big words that pop into the front of your head and write those down instead of trying to get everything down, because you're going to get lost in the details. You need those specific big words so that you can come back and you can be like, okay, this word matches with this part, this time period. It will give you a better, clearer idea. Um, before you start writing, and then after you write your level of anxiety before and after. If you write it ahead of time and you're like, oh, I'm about a 7, and you write for about 5 minutes, you will discover that your anxiety level has come down. Just the action of taking that pen and connecting it to your brain, like Hamilton, will actually just like drain away some of that anxiety, because you've given yourself a task, something to do. You've engaged the higher part of your brain that is more logical and rational, instead of just the base part of your brain, which is animal and afraid. All right. So there's a lot of reasons why it works, but do it. And I promise you, you'll start to experience it. You'll be like, oh, this is good. I should have been doing this the whole time. All right. Julie, glad you made it. Hey, there's no such thing as late. As long as you are here, even if you catch it on the replay, that's just fine. I am glad you're with us. All right. So we just talked about doing our deep breathing and doing our journaling. Julie, have you been doing your deep breathing and your journaling? I need you to get on that if you haven't been doing. All right. The third thing that we always talk about every time we get together is I want you to develop an attitude of gratitude. I need you to do that. This was part of yesterday's challenge in the Big D challenge over in the challenge group. We were talking about this yesterday, how grief is the opposite of gratitude. So grief is what you've lost, right? Gratitude is about what you have. The trauma creates lots of grief. Yeah, you've lost some things. But if you keep on reminding yourself about the things that you have to be grateful for, it starts to heal some of the pain of that loss. So we need to develop that. We need to develop an attitude of gratitude, start being thankful for things every day. Like I said, I have started a practice trying to write down something every single day that I am grateful for, to keep me present, to keep me from like spiraling out, because I was like, doggone, we out here in water lines and whatnot. This is ridiculous. Could have spiraled out. But because I'm choosing to be like, yeah, but I'm waiting in the water line on my own, no kids in the car, listening to my music, just inching along so I can get some water. And I can get some free water. Okay, all right. I got things to be grateful for, so it calms that right back down. All right. So I want you to be giving me good stuff. In the Thirsty Thursday post, that's always where I always want to hear the good news. So I don't see anybody for Thirsty Thursday, but if you're here with me now, give me some good news. Tell me something that you are grateful for this week, today, this moment. And let me share it with everybody, because it's real easy to share the grief, right? It's real easy to share the pain. And there's a lot of pain that it gets expressed in the group, but we also want to be expressing that gratitude, reminding our brains that we are not just all trauma all the time. That is not who we really are. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we have wonderful things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis. If we don't start paying attention to them, they kind of fade into the background of the trauma. All right. Julia said, yes, been starting that this week. Thank you. Good. I'm glad. Starting with your journaling, starting with your deep breathing. I'm trying to tell you, it works so well. Okay. If you're doing it consistently, doing the deep breathing consistently, changes how your brain works. Your brain, when you are in that fight or flight mode, you kind of sip the air and never fully exhale. So if you start the practice of just simply pulling in as much oxygen as you can and blowing out as much carbon dioxide as you can, that's helpful to you. Oxygen helps with all types of pain. All right. If you are in pain, oxygen helps you. When I was a nurse a long time ago. Lord, this is 25 years ago at this point. I used to work on a unit where we had sickle cell patients all the time. And oxygen works to help with the pain some. Yes, they are on some narcotics, but because the blockage of their blood vessels is caused by their blood, and that causes pain. If you get blood flow blocking somewhere in your body, that part will hurt. So the more oxygen they had, the better off they felt, because you were pouring oxygen into the bloodstream trying to get more oxygen down in there. Oxygen helps all sorts of pain. So go ahead and breathe, right? Do your deep breathing, do your journaling. Take that 5 minutes in the morning and the evening and write down what's in your head and get it out of your head so that you can go about the rest of your day. You can actually train your brain to just like trauma dump when you're in front of your journal. You can tell your brain, hey, wait. I got to go to work. We got to pick the kids up. I don't have time for you to freak out right now. You know that when I get home, I can go to my journal and you can talk all about this when you want to. But I can't deal with that right now. You are the boss of your brain. Your brain will try and be the boss of you. It really will, but it is not the boss. You are the thinker. You are not the thoughts. Your thoughts, your brain does all of this automatically. You still have choices. You have decisions that you can make every single day that will get you to healing. All right. And one of those is being grateful, choosing that gratitude every single day, focusing on what you do have, what is good in your life, will train your brain to look for those things. All right. And last thing that I always tell you every time we get together, I want you to stop asking all those damn questions. Okay. I know you want to ask the question. It is a trauma response to ask all those questions. Your brain is saying, this is a threat. I need to know all of the information that I possibly can about this threat. That is what's happening when you're doing the questioning. Oh, I have a question and I just need to ask him any minute, any minute of any day. I need him to answer this question for me to feel better. It doesn't make you feel any better. It just gives you more ammunition to use against them. That's what the purpose of it is. It is not to help you heal. That is what your brain will tell you. But again, your brain lies to you when you're traumatized. So it's telling you, oh yes, if we get these answers, we will feel so much better. We will allow the healing to happen. But it's lying. It's not telling the truth at all. You find out all those answers and then you have more questions. What it's doing is it's wearing that pattern into your brain. You are in a little feedback loop, and it makes that rut in your brain deeper and deeper every time you allow it. So I need you to stop asking all those damn questions. I know it's difficult, but I know you can do it. All right. I know you can do it because you are a conscious being and you make choices. And if something is not good for you, you have the choice to be able to not do it. It feels good. And when you're asking the questions, you're like, I gotta ask. I have to ask it. But it doesn't actually do anything good for you. It's the same concept as if you randomly just see a spider in your room, right? All of a sudden you see a spider on your ceiling and you were like, oh hell, that spider wasn't there before. And then you start watching the spider. Then you start tracking it around the room, trying to find out where it came from, trying to get as much information as you possibly can about the threat, the spider. Our brains typically take spiders as a threat. They take the shape of a spider and automatically think that that is going to be a threat. It's built into our animal brain. So the same thing happens with your honey. You consider him to be the spider, and you know what I'm saying, you would smush the spider. Well, most people would smush the spider. I'm scared of the spider, but I still won't smush it. I don't want to smush the spider. They eat the other stuff. But it, um, it is real easy to fall into the fear and just track it. And then, Lord knows, if you lose sight of it for 2 seconds, you go through straight panic. So it's the same exact response that happens when you're afraid of the spider. You're treating your honey like you're afraid of him. Now, I know that your brain wants to ask those questions. It just asks those questions because it is a trauma response. It does that. It does it automatically. So instead of allowing your brain to just ask whatever question it wants to, which is usually like, what position did you have sex in? What did she smell like? What made you decide to go ahead and put yourself inside of her? All sorts of stuff will come up in your brain. I don't want you asking any of those questions. All of those questions are bad. They're going to lead to a bad place. They're going to hurt your feelings. And you don't need that information. That is not information that will help you heal at all. I know your brain will tell you that it is, but that's not information that will help you heal. More details about him having sex with somebody else is supposed to help you heal. That doesn't even make sense. But our brains will say that in order to treat them like the threat. And so then it's like, oh, well, yeah, they must be the threat because look what they did. And then it reinforces itself over and over again. Okay. So if you have that urge and you want to ask a question, try these instead. This is the and, THEAND, the and, from the good people at theskindeep.com. You can find these questions on on Amazon. That's not delicious. I like that. Hi over there on Instagram. So instead of asking the questions that you want to ask, the ones that are all about the infidelity, about the trauma that you've experienced, let's not do that. Let's ask some from this deck. This is the Healing Edition deck. Better questions to ask. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of these right about now. Shuffle them up here. All right. When was the last time you considered ending our relationship, and why didn't you? See, now look, this is the Healing Edition, but they got some cards up there, got a little heartbreak at the top of them. Some of them can be a little tender, okay? Some of these can be areas where you're not necessarily ready to talk about it. So what you can do is you can pass on them. If your honey gets this question from you, he was like, you know what, I'm going to pass. And he's going to hold your hands and look into your eyes. I think it's for 20 seconds and then say pass. And you can pass on them. But now, it's not a bad question to ask. This would be an interesting thing to find out about what's going on with your honey. When was the last time you considered ending our relationship, and why didn't you? Wouldn't you like to know that? Wouldn't that fill in some gaps for you? And wouldn't that help you avoid to get back in that same position again? I think so. But, you may not be ready for that if you're not healed enough yet. I get it. But it is a better question than the questions that you want to ask. It's a better question than what possessions did you have sex in? Way better question. All right. Next question. When do you think we misunderstand one another? And what do you suggest we do about it? Wouldn't you like to know that more than the other questions that you have? When do you think we misunderstand one another? And what do you suggest we do about it? All right. May come up with excellent ideas. You got to just talk to them about it. All right. And one more. What do you feel is the difference between fixing and healing? Ooh, interesting one. What do you feel is the difference between fixing and healing? Me personally, I feel like fixing is thinking that somebody else is going to fix you, that somehow they're going to climb inside you and they're going to repair you in some way. I think healing is taking the autonomy and saying, okay, look, I have hurt. I am deciding that I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be healed and starting to work on it from the inside. That's the way that I see it. But let me know if you disagree. If you have other thoughts, let me know. All right. Yes, Julie. Yes. All right. Good, good, good. Charlene said, I noticed from past experience from him, whenever he's talking to chatting with other women, he's rude, short with me. How do I not take that personally or get offended by it? Oh, yes. I Not only she said, love those definitions. I'm so glad. I'm glad. It's good stuff, right? It's better. Thinking about it in terms of what you can do rather than somebody else actually coming in and tinkering around in your brain and trying to fix you. I feel like that um, makes you feel like you have some choices in this matter. Yes, something bad happened to you that you didn't have a choice about, but like they say, the wound isn't your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. That's what it is. They can't fix what they've wounded. They can't do it. It's impossible. They can't come into your brain and fix it all for you and patch you up and send you out onto the world. They can't do it. So you got to heal yourself from inside. By Charlene, how do you not take that so personally? Get offended by it. Glad we're diving right into the questions today. Um, First of all, you've got to understand that if he is doing all of that, he's feeling bad about himself. If they all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm trying to be mean to you because I'm doing something wrong. All right, that is a sign that your mate is not in a great headspace. I know that it's easy to take it personally, to take it as, oh, well, he is being mean to me because I am less than. There is something about me that he doesn't love very much. But the thing is, that's not usually true. He probably loves you quite a lot, but he also realizes he's not good enough for you. He also realizes that he is failing you in some areas. And so then if he can poke at you and make you mad too, then you kind of come down a couple of rungs with him, right? You start reacting to that, getting all upset about it, working yourself all up with it. And so then your brain keeps telling you that you're less than, you should be less, you should act less, you should be, I think you said earlier, a watered down version of yourself. So then you become less and less yourself, and then you get more and more of this negativity because you're less and less of the person that they love. So I'm like, you got to see it as an area to have compassion. If he is sitting there doing all that talking and he has a problem with you, he's having a problem. Nobody is going to come and attack their mate, the person that they love, unless they're suffering. Nobody thinks that it's a good idea to cheat unless they're suffering in some way. There's some pain that is inside them that is making them think this terrible idea is a good idea. And so if they're in that space, there's something going on with their brain. There's something going on with them personally that has nothing to do with you. So don't ever just take that on. Automatically assume, okay, when he all of a sudden gets all bitchy, all of a sudden, okay, he's probably talking to somebody else. Okay, what has been going on with him? What has been happening in these last couple weeks, last couple months that has thrown him off? We have the three S's for why this happens, why they cheat. And it's sick, sad, stupid. Okay. And stupid ain't what you think it is. Sick is any kind of illness, some kind of illness, and it can be physical or mental. It doesn't really matter because all mental illnesses are physical. So it doesn't even matter if it was mental or physical. It is something going on within their body and they are not feeling their best and they are not doing their best. That's what happens when we're sick. We don't do our best. It is natural that that happens. We are less able to cope when we are sick. So he could be sick, experiencing depression, anxiety. He could be experiencing, you don't know. I used to work in hospitals, and you have no idea how many people come in with heart attacks that are cheating at the moment. They had the heart attack with the girl. Okay, when there's something physically wrong with your body, we tend to do things that are not in our character. Things that we are not used to doing, we do when we're sick. Um, then there is sad. Sad is a loss of some kind. If he cheated on you and you know he just lost his mother, or you all lost a baby together. It's all sorts of things that can happen that are a loss, even feeling like he lost you. If you experience that type of loss together, loss of a child together, and then he feels like you kind of pulled away and he kind of pulled away from you, and he feels like not only did we lose his family, I lost you too. It's big time damage to your brain. You don't do your best when you're hurting like that. When you have lost something huge, something that meant something to you, you don't do well. And then there's stupid. Stupid is not what you think. It is not just them being stupid. It is all the stupid things we get taught about being in relationships. What men hear is, oh, you have to have as much money as you possibly can to be worth anything. And if you don't have a lot of money, you got to have a lot of women. If you don't have either one, you're just a loser. And like, that's the stupidest one. Okay. But even from itty bitty boys, saying to them, "Oh, you are just gonna break all the hearts, and you wait for me when you get older." Even from that, like itty bitty babies, they'll say that type of stuff to boys. And then when they're in their teens and they're still a virgin, well, why are you still a virgin? You haven't had sex with somebody? You're supposed to have sex with a lot of people, and so you're a loser if you haven't. And so then all of their self esteem gets placed in how they are going to react to other women. How are they going to be with women, or if they have a lot of money? So there's a lot of stupid reasons. There's a lot of reasons that are pain based. And if you know that he's hurling pain at you, he's hurting. And you will find usually what happens with that, there is a cycle that happens, because my husband has bipolar disorder. And so I know for sure, if he starts just randomly like throwing insults, I'll be like, what the hell are you talking to? I know that's a trigger now to me to know, oh, he's ill. He's going a little bit manic. I know way before he does. At this point, I know exactly when he's about to be manic, and I tell him now, and he's not thrilled about me knowing before him, but he'll listen to me now, and he was like, "You think I am?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's been a couple of days. Yeah, you've been sliding in there." I said, just watch it. Just, pay attention to how you're feeling. And then like a day or two later, it'll be fully upon him. And he'll be like, damn it, she was right again. So you look for the cycle that comes with that. That's one piece of the cycle that you're getting. That when all of a sudden he starts talking crazy, okay, you got to go backwards from that. Try and pick up the next step in the cycle, the one right before that. There's something that he always does right before he starts talking shit too. There's something else. If you keep going backward, if you keep working your way back, you'll be able to tell exactly what the cycle is. Some men, you can actually tell when they're going to start getting bitchy, because it's once a month their testosterone dips. It happens just the same way we get PMS. Men do too. So if they have that area where that part of the month their testosterone dips down, you can put that on a calendar and be able to tell exactly when he is going to start acting all crazy, because his hormones are acting up too. Nobody tells men about hormones. Nobody tells men that, oh yeah, once a month you're going to be kind of insecure and feel kind of crappy. And if you talk to or speak to or near a brand new woman, all of a sudden all this testosterone will surge into your blood and you'll start to feel better. And then testosterone makes you kind of stupid and kind of mean. So then you got this testosterone flowing and you feel better, but you're not being nice to the people around you. So a lot of things are going on when he all of a sudden starts acting like that. There is something going on. There is some pain that he is trying to deal with, that he's not dealing with it well. And a lot of men will stop trying to deal with the pain and just use being with another woman to boost that testosterone, make them feel better. And then it wears off and then they're a jerk again. Right? There's a lot to it. It's so complex. It really is. All right. But try and be understanding. That's all. And try and catch the previous step. When you get all traumatized and get all wrapped up in the mean, hurtful things they're saying, it blocks you from like your logical, rational, reasoning brain. And so at that moment, you forget about the last things that were happening. You were like, oh, this was part of the cycle. You can't tell it because you're all distracted by how you feel. So if you can back it up, calm down, do your deep breathing, journal a little bit, be like, okay, we're starting from today. This is the day that he is starting to flip out and talk all crazy to me. Okay, what happened yesterday? What happened 2 days ago? What happened last week? Was there something in there? Did he do some behavior that was weird? I feel like a lot of women are, well, hell, a lot of people are dealing with mental health disorders and have no idea about it. Because I'm trying to tell you right now, I am fully believing that I have ADHD. It's been like the last couple of years. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what's wrong with me. Okay. So, like, I've noticed my own cycles. I understand, how I deal with things. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got a lot of symptoms of that. If you start writing down what the cycle is, a lot of time you can figure out what somebody's mental illness is. Now, again, you cannot diagnose anybody, all right? And chances are they're not a narcissist, okay? That is actually a very, very rare psychiatric diagnosis that you would have noticed by now. If you've been with him for years and you never thought that he was a narcissist before, he wasn't weird before, but now you're like, oh no, he's a narcissist. He probably isn't. Okay, it is a very rare thing to find. I'm working in psychiatric facilities. I only ran across two of them in my whole career. So yeah, chances are he's not a narcissist, but if you start following the cycle and start paying attention to it, writing it down, and coming back and reviewing it on a regular basis, you'll start to see, oh, he starts doing this. And even if it's a good thing, it's like, oh, like mine would start, he bring me flowers. And I was like, every damn time he brought me flowers, I was like, you're talking to somebody online. And he was like, why do you say that? I was just doing something nice for you. But I was like, you don't think to do that any other time. Any other time, you look at me crazy when I'm like, where you don't want to buy me flowers? And I don't really actually like flowers. I like plants. If you want to give me a plant with that flower is great, but I'm not as big on getting flowers. So I knew when he did that, that's what was happening. So it was even a good thing that was happening, but it's part of the cycle. So be watching that. That's the biggest advice that I can give you. If you start paying attention, you can start stopping your part in the cycle sooner. So if whatever mental illness that they're dealing with, if they have anxiety, if they have depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, all sorts of stuff. If you know what the cycle is, you stop participating in your part of the cycle has to change. That's just how it goes. He can't be in the same cycle with you if you're not in the cycle. So if you take yourself away from it and say, okay, I know this is coming now. I'm going to back myself up. I'm not going to sit here and get all worked up about you running your mouth to me right now because you must be ill. Let me step back and think about the last few days, last few weeks, and see if I can start to piece this together. If you use that time where he's doing this as time to investigate, time to think instead of just being offended, it's real easy to just be offended, but in the moment, you need to know that that is a sign. It is not just, oh, I need to believe the worst about myself because he's saying terrible things about me. That's not what that is. You are seeing a sign or a symptom of something going on inside of his brain. And if you can just step back a little bit, decide that you are not going to be distracted by, oh, he's talking crazy about me. That will give you a little bit of peace and a little bit of space to be able to figure out more of the pattern, more of the clues. All right. Does that make sense? Talk about that for a little bit. Make sure. Let me know if that makes sense or you want me to explain it a little bit better. I got you. All right. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, complaints? What else you got for me? Let me know. Don't see any questions on the post. All right. I don't see anything. Anybody got any questions? Let me know. I can answer whatever you'd like me to answer today. So that makes sense. All right. Good, good, good. I'm glad. I know it gets complex, but like that was one of the best things I did was figure out his cycle. Once I figured that out, I was like, oh, I got you now. And I just kept catching it earlier and earlier and earlier. And now he's like amazed. He thinks I'm a freaking psychic. And he was like, how do you know that that's what I'm feeling already? I was like, oh, I've been tracking this. I've been paying attention. Now, see, that wouldn't surprise him because I wrote down everything about him when I first met him, and he found that later on. He was like, "Were you stalking me?" I was like, "No, I just got a terrible memory. I got to write stuff down." But and I was like, "I liked you, and I knew I was going to talk to you again, so I made sure I wrote down lots of information about you." And he was like, "Oh, I still feel like you were stalking me," but like he's not terribly surprised that I know better than him what his symptoms are because I live with him and I just kept tracking it further and further back to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And the more information I got, the better I was at it. Nazalicious said, I'm at a point in that cycle where I feel the hurtful things are too much. I keep thinking he knows this hurts me, and if he loves me, he'll fix it. Is that unreasonable or unrealistic? It is, because he can't fix you. He cannot fix you. Every bit of healing that you've ever done has been from the inside out. That's the way our bodies heal. And this is a physical thing that happened because this trauma happened. It affected your brain and it's affecting your body. And you're looking at him and you're like, well, if you love me, you would fix it for me. You would make me feel better. And he has no power to do that. Honestly, if you really want to know the truth, people don't have any power to make you feel anything. They actually don't. You still make that choice. If somebody hurts you, you make the choice to sit there and be hurt about it. You make the choice to internalize it and say that, oh, well, but you did this to me, so that must mean that you feel negatively about me, that I must be less than, I'm not enough. There's some reason that you would do such a thing to me. But the problem is, people are kind of selfish. People do the wrong thing all the time. There's a saying, you can sin and still love God. You can do the absolute worst, and that doesn't change your feelings. It doesn't mean that your feelings are all erased. You can do terrible things to people and still love them very much. So it's so hard because you expect that you hurt me, so you should fix me. But isn't that giving a lot of power to somebody who has shown that they shouldn't have that power over you? That's a ton of power to be like, here, you hurt me, but here, I'm going to give you all of the power to fix me. I'm gonna just give it all to you, and I'm gonna trust that you're gonna do the best with it. You can't even trust him right now. You can't trust him right now. So how in the world were you gonna think he was gonna fix you? If he could fix you, you not trusting him is still putting a block up to that. Even if it was possible, even if he could crawl inside your ear and go tinker around in your brain and mess with your hormones, even if that were true, you are still blocking him because you don't believe him anyway. So yeah, true. So that's what it is. I know it feels like that is the right choice, but that's why I work mostly with women. I do work with some couples, but honestly, the healing comes from the person who was hurt. And so he can say all the things. He can say and do all the right things. I have seen it time after time after time. That doesn't heal you. Choosing to heal and then walking that path is what heals you. That's what does it. He doesn't have anything to do with it. You love him, and so that gives you some inspiration to go ahead and walk the path. But he can't actually do anything about fixing you at all. That's why I created the dreams formula so that you know what the path is, because most of the path is you. Decide is the D. Make up your mind that you want to heal. Picture what your life will look like. Totally healed, happy, fulfilled. This wound is all healed up. You don't have to worry about him. Who would you be then? And then act like that person. That's how you do it. Decide what you want and then follow along with that. R is for recognizing and then overcoming the fear, because making that decision is scary as hell. And other people will try and scare you. The fear speech inside your own brain and the fear speech that other people will give to you says that this is impossible and you're just going to be hurt again and you're going to be a doormat and you shouldn't give him a chance to open up your heart like that because you're going to be hurt again. And you can listen to all that fearful stuff if you want to. But again, that is what happens inside of our body anyway. They're echoing back what the fear is saying inside you. And so that feels like it's real, but it's still just fear. Your love can be a decision that you make in favor of your love and your future instead of choosing the fear. The fear is just automatic. You can make choices whether or not you're going to listen to the fear or not. All right. Um, E is evaluating the why. I talked about it already. Sick, sad, stupid. If he was sick in some way, if he has lost something in some kind of grief, or he is dealing with the after effects of all the crazy stuff that we teach young boys about girls, any one of those things could be true. Those things are not to try and make it so that this never happens again. It's to understand his trauma and to be able to have some compassion to say that, damn, you must have been really hurting for you to do something this stupid. You must have really been feeling bad about yourself to think, even for a moment, oh, if I cheat on my girl, this is going to make me feel better. That was dumb. Of course, there's something wrong. Of course, your brain is not working correctly at that point. So you talk to them and find that compassion for them through figuring out the why. A is allowing the healing to happen. You've got to let the walls down. You've got to decide that you want this person close to you and teach your brain that being close to them is actually a good thing. It's something that makes you happy. It's something that you want. It's something that makes you calm and peaceful. And you have to practice being that way when you're with them. Let down the walls. Make sure that you hug a lot. Hug like 30 seconds at a time, multiple times a day. It will produce oxytocin, which will lower your stress hormones, which will also produce that feeling, the feeling when you're cradling the baby, that oh, I just love you so much. That feeling comes from oxytocin. You can produce that just hugging your honey. 30 seconds, that's all it takes. Several times. Do it several times. Let's see, allowing the healing. Oh, and kiss for 10 seconds. That'll usually spark up some ideas in your head if you kiss for a full 10 seconds. Then there is M, which is managing the future feelings. We're gonna do a triggers challenge. I think it is in September, but the tricky triggers challenge is coming up. But in the meantime, what you need to know is what you feel when you are triggered. There is something physically that happens to you when you're triggered. If you know what that is, and then you focus on working on that thing, then you will be able to calm yourself during a trigger. So if you're like, oh, my heart beats out of my chest when I'm triggered, you sit down, you do your deep breathing, you focus on your heart, you imagine it slowing, you imagine it calming down, it is beating normally, you do not need to be in fight or flight, everything is fine, comforting yourself, all right? You got to make a plan for it when it happens. And then the M and then S is seeking support. Not me. Come talk to me. I can put the enchanted reconciliation call in the thing so you can come get some support. You need support from somebody who knows this whole formula and will remind you to do these things. Remind you what your decision is, that you had the right to make the decision and nobody else had this right to make the decision. And if you choose it, you can make it so. Reminding you that yes, there's a ton to be afraid of, but you are not living in fear. You are living for love. You are going for your happy ending. We are not going for afraid and lost in the woods. We are not going for that. That is not the ending to your story. push you back onto the path. You need somebody to remind you of, he must have been hurting. This was not to hurt you. This was because he was hurting. You need somebody to remind you to let down the walls. You need somebody to tell you, hey, you got to stop being such a bitch to him. Okay, I understand that you're mad at him. I get it. He totally is deserving of it, but that's not what you want. You don't want to be like that. You want to have love. You want to get to your happy ending, and you can't be in your happy ending being the evil witch. You can't do that. And you need somebody to remind you when you're triggered of what your plan is and to calm you back down. So that is what I am here for. I want you to know that you do have assistance in this. You are not by yourself. I know how to do this. Unfortunately, from personal experience, I know how to do this. And I don't want you to be alone with it. I want you to have assistance step by step of the way. As you do this, usually I work with people between 2 and 3 months. In that period of time, there is so much change that most people feel like, oh, I'm good. I don't need you anymore. Okay. I make myself obsolete after a couple of months because you'll be rolling with it. You'll be feeling better. You'll be doing better. You'll be opening up to the love. And as you open up to the love and the life you really want, the life you really want starts to become your reality. And so you don't worry about it as much, and you're less stressed, and you're less angry, and you're less hurt, and you're less worried about what he's doing, and it feeds into itself the more you do it. So I want to help you with that. So make sure, if you don't sign up for a call, message me, talk to me. I am with you. Okay, I want to help you do this. DM me on Instagram, message me on my Love Coach Dasha page. It does not matter where you reach out to me. I got information for you, okay? I can help you, put you right on the path. Julia said, learning a lot. Thank you so much. It's hard because I also learned right after he was following a ton of girls on his social medias. He's not now, but still, I wonder if he will try and go back to that. Hope not, though. I the social media thing. I am of the belief that social media is not reality. I feel like we make it too real. We're like, oh, he's following these women, so he must want them, he must love them. But they're probably not paying any attention at all. They got a whole bunch of followers because they're half naked. Of course, they're going to have followers. They're not worried about him. They're not trying to have an affair with him. I feel like social media kind of got blown out of proportion. We started being really, really worried about social media, like influencers that they can follow, and just, models that they can watch, instead of being really worried about like real live people that they could have sex with. You know, they are real live people. It could happen, but usually it's not going to happen. Usually these girls are out here trying to make their money. They are not about trying to go sleep with somebody's husband. Just randomly because he liked their picture. You know what I mean? So I feel like we should kind of start looking at the realism of, oh, well, liking somebody on a screen versus actually like getting in a conversation with them, paying them to talk, meeting up with them, like taking it even further than that. You can look at a screen all you want to. You can like what you want, but when you start trying to interact with them that I have a problem. All right. You said he was talking to some also, though, never said which ones, but did have small chats, though. So he was chatting. Yeah, but he was chatting, just trying to, feel special. He was trying to, and remember what I said about speaking to a new woman produces testosterone. He might have just been seeking that, not even trying to really honestly hook up with anybody. Some of the time when they're just chit chatting and whatnot, it's because a brand new woman makes a flood of testosterone and makes them feel good. That, and it could be like nothing more than that. It's just a little hormone boost. You're like, oh, that felt good. And I told you that flood of testosterone to their brain makes them kind of stupid. That's why men on steroids get kind of dumb. All right. Because that testosterone makes them a little dumb. But like, just seeking out that test. I think that's probably what it is a lot of the time, when they're just having those little chats and not really pursuing it, not really like, oh, I want to meet you, let me pay you. Like, when they're not going that far, I think it is a lot of it is just hormones. I think it's just ooh, that rush feels good to them. And they think, oh, well, this is an easy way to feel better about myself, which is sad, but we're all going through stuff and we all can feel really bad about ourselves and feel really down about things. And a lot of us will do a lot of things to feel better. Like that's where drug addictions come from. You take the drug to make you feel better, and then you feel better, and you're like, "Ooh, that felt much better. I don't want to feel bad anymore. That bad feeling is coming back now. Let me take some more of the drug so I can feel better." And then that's a cycle. It just keeps going and going. You get less and less return from the addiction, but you still know that that first time you felt better. It was better. So if I do it, maybe if I do it enough, I'll feel the way that I felt before. That's the way a psychiatrist explained addiction to me. And I was like, damn, that makes so much sense. And that's a lot of the time what they're doing is they're feeling so bad about themselves that they're like anything that triggers that hormonal response, that little flutter, that feeling that they'll chase it. They'll chase it like a dragon. No, Delicious said if they know that triggers you and they prohibit you from chatting with men because it's disrespectful. Okay, see, no, we're not doing double standards now. No, no, that is kind of dumb. Now, uh, it is kind of dumb. Okay, you can't sit here and be like, oh, well, you can't talk to any other men. You can't have any other conversations, and I can. I'm not for that. I'm not doing double standards. It's either I'm not talking to any other men and you're not talking to any other women, or I can talk to who I want to and you can talk to who you want to. Now, you make up your mind about what you want that to be. Do you want me to be able to flirt with other people? Because I will. I can. It's absolutely possible I can do that if that's who you are and you want to be flirting with people. I am kind of a flirt on general purpose. My husband tells me that I seem to flirt a lot. And he was like, you do it with everybody. You're the super friendly and you lean in and you talk to people real close and people like feel close to you. So it seems like you're flirting, but it's like the way you naturally talk. And I was like, huh, well, I'm glad you understand that about me. And you don't you can blame me for that. Because I want to be engaging with people. But yeah, if he's trying to be like, oh no, that's so scary for you to do it, but it's fine for me to do it. So you trust you, but you don't trust me. No, we're not doing it like that. I'm either free to talk to who I want to, and you free to talk to who you want to, and we be adults about it and be responsible and not do things that would lead to a problem in our relationship. And we trust one another, or we make that be a boundary for both of us that no, I'm not going to be talking to anybody, and you're not going to be talking to anybody else, and it's not going to be all of that trying to make ourselves feel good with other people. So I'm not about that double standard life. No, no. If you can do it, it was good for the goose, it's good for the gander, is what they said. So no, we're not doing that. But you must also realize that if you're doing things that seem inappropriate to him, and he's like, look, you keep on talking to other people, and this looks weird to me, you can't say anything about him talking to other people either. If you're doing something and he's been telling you that it makes him uncomfortable and you won't stop and you're just expecting him to go ahead and stop, well, that's not really going to work. So it's either be a good example and not do those type of things, or like everybody, we just all not going to do it. No, we're not going to do all that prohibiting me from talking, but you can freely talk. We're not doing it. Julie said, mine hates me having any male friends at all. Also, I can't talk to any males, so he can't either. Then it's fair. Okay, well, if they want to be like that, like I said, if they want to be like that, then that is the standard for everybody. I know that lots of men think that, oh, well, all men are trying to get with all women. And if you are talking to this man, then you're entertaining him, and he's trying to get with you, and you might be flighty and go on off with them. A lot of them have that insecurity. Okay. I it is an insecurity. It's something that they need to deal with. However, if you're out there and you're acting like you are trying to be interested in this person, like male friends, I'm like, unless we have like an activity, something that we do, like what are you doing with male friends? Like, what are you doing? I used to have a whole bunch of male friends, and I'm like, there's still people that like are my friends on Facebook, like, but we don't talk on a regular basis because I have the man that I want to be with, and we don't do the same things anymore, so we're not really hanging out anymore. But like, are you trying to have? Are you trying to make brand new male friends? Because male friends that are coming in trying to make friends with you usually are trying to sleep with you or use you for a testosterone boost too. So be careful of that too. Be careful about what you're doing. We can't really affect anybody else but ourselves. If there is a standard, if you feel like it is not appropriate for either one of you to be talking to other people, then you maintain that standard. You put yourself out there and say, okay, look, I don't think that's appropriate for you to be talking to other women, and I don't talk to other men. And you just go ahead and say that. If you were just trying to talk to other men to make them jealous or to prove the point, then that kind of proves the point. It means that you are unhappy and you're willing to go engage with other men to try and upset your man. That's what that means. So if that's what you're doing, you can't do that. You can't do that either. You got to be careful on this playing field. Let's see. Marie. Hey, Marie. Glad you're here. He said, but in the same way, when you connect to someone else, it might seem flirting, but it's really not. It's just common courtesy. That's true too. That's true. Being polite these days equals flirting. I don't even get it. I know, because that's what my husband said. And I'm like, I'm thinking I'm just being polite. I think I'm trying to, look at people, engage with people. But like if you look at what like definition of flirting is, it's like that engaging conversation and eye contact and like physical contact. I touch people. So it seems like flirting to a lot of people, but I'm not intending it that way. If you can't trust your significant other to be polite, there's issues, too many issues. Exactly, that is true. Like if we're out in the regular public, I'm not trying to get their phone number and I'm just, speaking to somebody, that shouldn't be a problem. And both of you should be able to do that. You should be able to speak to people, but collecting up phone numbers and, starting up relationships and whatnot, that's unnecessary. No new friends. Hey, Marie. Let's see. Julie said, mine is very insecure, but never haven't given him a reason. And even, well, you wouldn't have to. That's insecure. That's his self-esteem. That's not from you. His self says that he's not good enough. But never have I given him a reason, and even have male friends since we have been together, but he's been like that, but I don't add anyone to FBI I don't know at all. Yeah, I keep that as a rule myself. I don't particularly, unless it's somebody like business contact, somebody else, another coach, I might add them, but I don't add a whole bunch of people now. At this point, I'm like, okay, that's enough. That's enough friends. I don't need any new friends. But you handling yourself and being secure and having your self confidence intact is going to show him a good avatar of how he should behave if his self-esteem is intact. And so, if you're not being insecure and you're showing him not insecure, he will be able to like emulate that behind you. So it's working on who you would be if everything was wonderful between the two of you. That's the big thing that you need to be working on. Who would you be? How would you behave? What would you believe? What would you say? What would you do if you were all healed up and everything was wonderful and you were feeling great about yourself and about the relationship? What would you do then? And if it was, not talking to other people, then that's what you should be going for. You're not talking about, you are interested in the relationship that you're in, you have other female friends that you can go out and do fun stuff with. Yeah, you can build that. You build what you want your life to look like. If that's not part of what you want your life to look like, there's no need to start including it now. A lot of the time we end up just talking to other people because we're like, I want to prove the point. See, you can do it, but I can't do it. Why is it that you can do it and I can't do it? But that kind of doesn't give you any good leeway, because once you do that, then he's like, see, you'll do that. And so then I should be able to do it too. And so then that leads down this rabbit hole. So if you feel like it is not appropriate for either one of you to be making new friends, trying to be with anybody new, trying to develop new relationships, then you should probably not do it too. All right. That makes sense. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, anything else? Let me know if you got anything. And if you want to talk to me, go ahead and click on the link for my Enchanted Reconciliation call. You can go ahead and feel like you're on the right path. Talking to me is about feeling, you'll be feeling like, okay, I think I can maybe do this. It will be in my link tree and it is in the comments on this video in the Love After Cheating group. And if you are not delicious, I don't know, are you in my Love After Cheating group? Come on over to Love After Cheating in Facebook. That is my big group. That's where everybody is. It's like 6,000 women in here. So if you want to come on over there. So you make sure you don't miss anything. Marie said, right, how would you behave if your significant other was with you always? Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. You're there. Good, good, good. Yeah, how would you act if they were just always with you and everything was beautiful and everything was wonderful between the two of you and you were happy and you were healed and you weren't thinking about pain anymore? How would you behave? And if you do that, if you put yourself energetically in that situation, that all of it's cleared up. Everything is beautiful. Everything is wonderful. There are no more problems. And be the person you would be if that were real. As soon as you start behaving in that way, you make it become real. That's what you're doing. All right. All right, so y'all, let me know if you got any other questions, but I'm gonna go ahead on finish on up now. We are doing our affirmations. Have you been doing your affirmations? I need you to jump on that. I need you to get on that, girl. Do your affirmations. Your brain on this trauma will tell you all sorts of negative things, including negative things about yourself, and most of them are lies. Most of them are not true at all. They will tell you that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, nobody likes you, you're not pretty. It will tell you all sorts of terrible things about yourself. Doing your affirmations tells your brain to shut the hell up. That is not true. I am a queen. I am a goddess. I am divine on this earth. You cannot sit here and tell me to believe terrible things about myself. If you do your affirmations consistently, you won't have to fight so much with your brain about telling you bad things about yourself. Okay. So, oh, I like this one. Today I am in charge. Today I'm in control of how I feel. Nobody can make me feel any other way than happy. Didn't I talk about that earlier? I love when I do that. I pick out an affirmation card to say something that I said earlier. That is exactly what I want you to know. Nobody can make you feel anything. Nobody can make you. Nobody is wrenching your metaphorical arm behind your back and causing you to feel anything. You are still choosing it. Even though they are doing something, you are still choosing your reaction. And that's what I want you to be aware of and mindful of as you go forward. Choose your reaction. Choose who you're going to be. Choose the life that you really want to live instead of just the reaction. All right. So today I am in charge. Today I am in control of how I feel. Nobody can make me feel any other way than happy. All right. That's a good one. I love that one. Oh, you're so welcome, Julie. I appreciate you being here and spending your time with me. I love doing this. I love being able to tell you all about this because you can heal. I know you hear a lot of very defeatist things about this being an impossible thing to do, but you can heal. You can be happy again. I am very, very happy. My husband, he's on it. Okay. Every year, he's a better husband than he was the year before. He is constantly evolving, constantly growing. We are constantly evolving and growing. That is the point. If you are in a relationship with somebody, you are supposed to be growing into who you're going to be because this person is there to help you, not hinder you. All right? So I want you to have this. I want you to feel good. I love that one too, Joy. All righty, y'all. Make sure you go ahead and click on the link, sign up for a time to meet up with me, get on a call with me, and we're going to chat. All right. I will put you on the healing path. Nastasia, you said after repeated disrespect, sometimes I want to choose violence, not peace. And you probably do choose violence on a regular. Even if it's just verbal, you probably choose it. But if you were all healed up, is that what you would do? Is that who you want to be? Do you want to be violent? Do you want to be angry? Do you want to be lashing out? Isn't that a lot of energy? Doesn't that suck? Doesn't it feel bad? So you got to remember in the moment, it's really easy to make the decisions that the fear wants you to make. The fear wants you to fight. The fear literally is telling you to fight or run away. Fight or flight, that's what it is. So when you're feeling like that, you're in the midst of the fight or flight response. Your body and your brain are like, fight him, get away, he's scary. You've got to choose every time. Be like, wait, wait, wait. I am not in fight or flight. I am in control of myself. I am not in danger right now. I am going to calm myself down. Do your deep breathing, do your journaling, take care of yourself, and bring that back to who you really are and not who the fear wants you to be. That's a big one I always tell you. Don't do what the fear tells you to do. Because, honey, the fear will tell you to do some stuff. The fear will tell you to do awful things that make you look like a freaking lunatic. It will make you look crazy. And then you're still staying with them anyway. So what was the point of doing all that? What was the point of acting all up like that and making it look like you lost your mind and then you're still staying? That makes other people worry about you. That makes other people be like, "Oh, did she really lose her mind? She really went crazy over this dude?" That's what they'll start thinking about you. And then they'll start worrying about you and wanting to help you. And then they'll be all in your face like, well, you should just leave him. He's not any good for you. And now you got to deal with that along with the stuff that's already going on inside your own brain. So it's always best. Control that. Get back in control of your own emotions. Don't let them run away with you. Do what you would do if you were healed and not if you were hurting. Julie said, can't wait to be at that stage. The betrayal is still pretty new, but think we can make it. Absolutely. The sooner you start working on it, the more chance you have of it being better. If you wait for years and years, you can make it better, but you've also impressed upon your brain the trauma, and it's harder to get rid of it after years. But if it's just new and you're like, damn it, I'm going to get through this, you can start changing what your brain is doing right now. Said me too. Marie said. Julie said me too. It's hard to not do that. Yes, indeed. And she said, not going to let him take me out of my character anymore. I know that's right. That's what I'm saying, Julie. Because you are the queen. You are the goddess. You cannot be just snatched out of your character. Absolutely not. We are not doing that. Yes, he made bad decisions, but we are not going to sit here and let him make us somebody that we are not just because he did something stupid. Absolutely not. That is way too much control to give to somebody else. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. All right. I am fully for that. I am on your side about that. You let me know if you want to get up with me. Go ahead and send me a message. Go ahead and sign up for a time on my on that link for my calendar, and we can talk about it. Huh? We can talk about all of this. Get you on the healing path. Make this a little bit easier on you. Okay. All righty, y'all. That's right. I love that. That's an excellent way to end right there. You're not gonna let nobody take you out of your character. I'm right. That's what I'm saying. Oh, it took me a while. It took me a minute. I was talking to goodness, who was I talking to? I can't remember who I was talking to now. But at the time, my husband was going through, he was manic and he had been really bad off for a good little while. And every time he had a mood swing, I'd flip out. And so he would be like, you're the one who's sick. You're the one who needs help. And so, like, I was like, okay, fine then. I went to the hospital. I went to the ER. He's like, look, he keeps saying that I'm the one that's having the problem, but I'm reacting to what he's doing. And so then they set us up with a psychiatrist, and we went to the psychiatrist. And I sat there and talked to the psychiatrist, and I was flipping so hard that the psychiatrist was like, okay, wait, I need you to stop for a minute. I was like, yeah, what? What's wrong? And she's like, you are so upset, so angry. She's like, I hear what you're saying. I understand what he's doing, but you are so upset, so worked up that I have to pay attention to you and not him. I can't figure out what's wrong with him because you are losing it. And I was like, oh, hell. Oh, hell. You done told me something now I gotta listen to. Cause that just messed me up. Cause she was like, I can't figure out what's going on with him because you're intruding. You are so worked up. Your emotions are so all over the place that you appear to be the problem. Whew, that hurt my feelings. It did. So I passed that on to you so you know you can't be losing your mind because other people won't see that it's actually him. Natasha, you said, thank you so much. I needed this tonight. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I could do that for you. I am here for y'all, all right? I am here every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live. And I'm also doing the Big D Challenge. It's still up. You can still come join me. I'm doing the last day tomorrow, but the videos won't come down until Tuesday. So you can sign up for the Big D Challenge. I will send you the emails and you can come join me in the Love After Cheating Challenge group and do the challenge with me because we're doing the challenge all week. I'm doing things. We are doing things. Charmaine is in there. She's in there with me. And Julie, I sent you emails. Check your email. Look for the email that says confirm your subscription. Because I think it sent you two of them. I put you in twice, but you had to confirm it to get emails from me. Okay, so just remember, go back and do that. Okay. All righty. That's about it. That's all I got for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I will be back again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live again next Thursday. If you want to join me for the rest of the Big D Challenge, click on the link above. Click on the link in my bio and click on the link on the picture. It's several times in the Love After Cheating group. You can click on the picture and sign up for it there. And then I will send you the emails. You can come and join me for the rest of that because we're doing good things in there. All right. All righty, y'all. That's about it. Thanks for joining me. I will see you again next week for the Healing Hour Live. I love you and I'm so, so proud of you. Do your breathing, do your journaling, do your gratitude practice. Don't ask all the questions and don't do what the fear tells you to do. Do your affirmations. All right. All right, y'all. Bye. Bye, Instagram. And bye over here on Facebook and YouTube.